Jerome Powell is about to cut interest rates and the crypto market is about to get wild. Tonight is the FOMC meeting. For me, anyways, 1 o'clock in the morning Thai time, 7 o'clock in the evening UK time, and whatever time that is in the US. But with that meeting will come some volatility, and the volatility that comes with that meeting, it's gonna be exciting. Now, I'll be streaming this live at 1 o'clock in the morning Thai time, at 7 p.m. UK time. Then at 7:30, that's when he'll start talking, and there's several things that we're looking for with Jerome Powell this evening with regards to the words that he uses, because we already know there's going to be a cut at this point. We're not looking for whether or not there's a cut. We know there's going to be a cut. The question is, how does he respond to the question when asked? How many more rate cuts can we expect this year? And what I'm expecting from that is, I can't tell you anything, and this and that, and boring. You know, his standard, typical, I'm not actually telling you the answer kind of response. And I think that'll probably generate quite a negative sentiment during the meeting, and I was kind of expecting the market to run up to the meeting and then dump down as the meeting was taking place. And I really think we'll be put under some very serious bearish pressure today with a very significant move to the downside. However, after that downside move has taken place, you want to buy the dip really hard, because the news is actually very positive, very bullish news that will mean the next 2, 3, 4 weeks in crypto end up as being insanely positive. And we're actually going to start out controversially here with Ethereum, because the potential in Ethereum right now is huge. If we bounce from this point here, we could end up this evening with Ethereum's price back up at $4,800. It could do literally a $300 move this evening. Peak liquidity for Ethereum right now is set at $4,511. The next leg up would take us to $4,620, and then the one above that is $4,660 before hitting the upper range high of $4,720. Now, Ethereum right now has been in a downtrend, and all it needs to do to break that downtrend is break this nice orange-yellow line here. But that's at the level of $4,550, and we tried that this morning and got rejected, and it was a pretty significant rejection, to be honest, with us moving up $100 in the span of a couple of hours all the way back down again. But right now we appear to be bouncing. Now, a tool that you can use to check if you've seen the bottom of where the market might go to is, have we completed a 0.618 retest on the Fibonacci? And the answer to that is simply yes. We've completed a retest of the 0.618 level, plotted bottom to top here. You can see that we came down, tested it, dropped back into this lower range here, and right now we're fighting to reclaim the 0.5 level. This is an indicator that works time and time again. You can use it to plot where these support and resistance levels are, and what you'll tend to find is that they line up quite well with a VRVP at the side of the screen. And moving on from ETH, this is the Bitcoin analysis that I showed you the other day and explained that there is a good possibility of us hitting $113,000 before having a significant run to the upside, and I actually still believe that to be the case. I think the most likely scenario here is the market doesn't go in the direction that everyone expects it to go, and it actually costs you money first before delivering some very nice returns. Now, I have zero doubt that Bitcoin will get up to $127,000 by mid-October. For me, that is a guaranteed thing that will happen, and that's why I say in this market right now, whatever you're doing today, pull your leverage out. Take it away. You don't want to lose your money right before something big happens. And if we start running, we'll continue to run. There'll be multiple days of run, but if you're using leverage and it starts going against you, it can turn very expensive. But of course, if you are going to trade, use BLOFIN, for which you'll find a link in today's video description where you can get a Rolex literally for just signing up on that link and doing a few trades. Now, the peak range of liquidity for Bitcoin still sits up here at $118,000, which is of course above the current price, which makes it look like a magnet. And later on in today's video, we're going to look at the Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana liquidation heat maps, and I'm going to explain to you what I expect is going to happen there, because that will come into play today. We are likely to tap both of those ranges. If there's a big range on a liquidation heat map that is sitting much higher than the current price, and there's another one sitting much lower than the current price, the odds are we're probably going to touch both and do that and ruin whatever trades you're taking today. Before we discuss though any more charts, it's time to discuss today's crypto news, and the first thing in today's crypto news is that Tether is launching a new stablecoin to be compatible with the new US regulatory frameworks, and that'll mean this is probably the largest stablecoin that'll ever be created aside from USDT. It also means they're printing money. This is essentially stimulus. So look at it however you want to. The huge organization creates another stablecoin. This is stimulus to the industry. This will create more cash in crypto. But that's not the only bullish news today. We have quite a bullish lineup with ARK Invest investing another $8.2 million into a crypto exchange called Bullish. I don't know what Bullish is, but I assume that them buying more of it gives them more money to put money into marketing, and marketing means more users, and more users means more buying power. So whatever's going on here is bullish. Now, the ETH BTC ratio is still much lower than it has been in previous bull markets, and this is how it currently looks. Now, in previous bull markets, this number goes a hell of a lot higher, which means that at some stage, Bitcoin will stop moving and altcoins will start running. Who knows where that stage is, but it's hopefully quite close. However, traditional news. Trump expects a big rate cut from the Federal Reserve this week. I think he'll be disappointed. We do only have 6 hours and 11 minutes to go before this happens, and there is only a 6% chance of a 0.5% rate cut, 94% chance of a 0.25% rate cut. Now, this is probably going to be correct. If that one comes in, Christ, we are going to the moon. It's going to be amazing. Now, everyone's expecting this rate cut to happen. Economists see Fed rate cut next week, at least one more in 2025. This is an old article, but point is, everyone's expecting this. So the market's probably already moved, which is why I expect a dump. But if that 0.5 comes in, we are going to the moon. Nobody's expecting that. Now, as soon as this rate gets cut, a lot of good things are going to happen. The interest rate on your bank account is going to go down. That's good because now you're forced into being an active investor in order to keep up with inflation. And inflation isn't slowing down, which means that you now have to take that money out of your bank account and invest it in something. And what do you pick? Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, it doesn't matter, but some people are going to pick these assets, and that means there's going to be a sudden increase in buying power. You'll be a little bit careful though, because otherwise it can turn into this, because Filipinos are addicted to online gambling, and so is their government. Everybody in the Philippines absolutely goes mad for these tiny little games that you can earn money on. Remember, during the last bull run, Philippines was the biggest area of growth for Axie Infinity. However, moving on, Dubai's housing boom is stoking fears of another crash, and I know for a fact the Dubai housing market has to come down. It is crazy, the amount of buildings that they're printing out there. And the reason why it's been so good for so many years is probably because nobody checked where the source of funds were that were buying these places in Dubai. There's a lot of money there that hasn't necessarily paid taxes, hasn't necessarily been gained legitimately. And what props up these markets is these dark economies, because the buying power never seems to stop. And you've got to question, who is constantly going out there and buying houses? It's not companies. Companies aren't going out and buying loads of off-plan houses. It's individuals. Now, I don't want to get too distracted by anything else in today's crypto news. I want to really give some focus to the rate cuts, because it matters what's going to happen today. If we see 0.25, the market will dump. If we see 0.5, the market will pump heavily. It also matters as to, we'll probably pump up on both of them immediately, because the rate cuts will come in and then suddenly you've got that confirmation and suddenly the market's bounced. We've not really seen that much front running today in the crypto markets. We've really not. Like, the market's been going steadily all day. Nothing crazy's been happening. It's been a bit annoying, really, because I was kind of expecting to be able to front run it, long it to the upside. That's just not happened. With the prices performing how they're currently performing, which is they're not performing, the play has to be wait until the announcement happens, and then wait until after Jerome has finished talking, and then it'll be 24 hours of being down, and that's where you want to buy. If we end up with the scenario whereby the prices dump during the FOMC meeting, you want to buy the dip, but you don't want to buy the dip during the FOMC meeting. Like, no trading. Just as like a rule of thumb, don't trade during an FOMC meeting unless you've already in a position and you're going, maybe I'll leave it open a little bit. Or if it's not too crazy, sure, whatever. But if it's quite a big position, maybe don't. These meetings can lead to a 10% move in price. Historically, the best one that we ever had was plus 30% on the price of Bitcoin in a single day. Now, that was a really good day, and honestly, I'd love that to happen, but that's only happening if it comes in at a 1% rate cut. Other than that, we're not ever going to see probably a 30% pump on Bitcoin in a single day ever again. However, if it comes in an interest rate increase, we might see a 30% dump. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many scenarios here that lead to dump. There's probably more scenarios that lead to dump than there is lead to pump in the immediate short term. In the slightly longer term, there's a lot more scenarios that lead to the upside, which is why I'm saying buy the dip. So when it comes to buy the dip, what should we be doing? Because I'm clearly not advocating that strongly for jumping into a long position here. And I actually don't believe it's the correct decision, to be honest. I'd be looking for a long on Bitcoin somewhere around $112,000, $113,000, and a long off of that level will yield a pump up to $127,000. I'm very confident about that scenario happening. When it comes to Ethereum, again, a nice position that I actually think you'll probably be able to get today is somewhere along this bottom line down here. If we look at where that's landing, that's going to bring us down to about 4,361. I think that'll happen, you know. I don't want it to happen, but I think it will. And if it does happen, I'll be buying a lot of Ethereum at these levels. It will be a very intense period of time for me. Now, as you'll know, we're still doing the trading challenge here, and we're doing it on BLOFIN, because BLOFIN is the best crypto crypto exchange that you can be using right now, which is why you should click and sign up on the link in today's video description. But on BLOFIN, we've got these trades open. The pump trade doing well, the SOL trade doing well, the Ethereum trade doing well. A lot of these trades are doing pretty well, but I might have an expensive evening if this goes against me. And this account could easily run down $20,000 or $30,000. I don't actually intend on closing any of these positions out. Like the Bitcoin trade, my entry there is 111. What I am saying is we're going to have one of those wicks today. 100% we're getting one of those wicks, and it's going to be either like just a straight line, like boom, or like boom. It's going to be one of them. And when it starts going in one direction, it'll wick all the way down, and it'll make some crazy stalk, and then it'll immediately bounce back up to something like that. And then it'll spend the next 2 or 3 days retracing that whole move. If this is the downside scenario, and then it'll make the crazy upside move once everybody's completely wrecked. That is a scenario that I don't really want to happen, which is why I kind of think it might happen. So looking here at the long-term liquidation heat map on Solana, you can see we've got a massive level up here at 251, and we've got a massive level down here at 196, as well as another level here at 229. That 229 level I kind of expect to get taken out today, wipe out a bunch of them in this range, maybe go as low 224. But I expect all of this to get completely mashed around. Everyone's trades get destroyed because there's too much leverage build up in the market right now. I found a very interesting chart the other day, and this shows us open interest. And why I'm saying there's too much money in the market right now is you see this bottom line here. This is not the price of anything. This is the amount of bets that are currently open on the price of Solana. And you can see, sure, there was slightly more bets the other day when the price was peaking up here at new all-time, not quite new all-time highs, but nearly all-time highs of $250. Since then, yes, it's taken a little bit of a dip down, but interest has only dropped down by about $500 million. It's still $7.7 billion of open interest in futures trades currently on Solana. And when we have these big runs to the downside, you do end up generally wiping out charts like this, and then immediately these charts recover as that leverage resumes trading, which is why you end up with these significant drops down where everyone is forced to liquidate, and these very quick drops back up as everyone reopens that exposure. Now, when it comes to Ethereum, we have a very concerning liquidation heat map on Ethereum. Down there, down at 4,140, in that range there, just too much. That's going to get wiped out. I can just tell right now, it's going to get sucked up into this range just before the meeting. News is going to come out. It's going to drop down to this level here, and that's the buy zone. Is that you can see how much buying there is down there. That is like hard. When you think liquidation, remember when someone gets liquidated, somebody has to buy that off them. Remember that a liquidation is just a changing of hands, and that is going to be a lot of hands changing if the price gets down to $4,200. And the final liquidation heat map to look at is Bitcoin. You can see up here at 17,000. It looks like a magnet. It's a false economy. Is that problem? Is you've got all this down here at $107,000 and down at $107,000. It doesn't look great, does it? There's just too much. There's too much down there. I'm hoping that we just start eating into this range here and it becomes this very aggressive pump to the upside. That's what I'm praying for, because myself, I'm long. I really could do with a pump here. It would be great. It would really help me complete this challenge. We have actually opened up more exposure today on Ethereum while the price has been a little bit lower than usual. But overall, guys, it's gone dark throughout filming this video. It's not actually been that long. The sun here must just drop out of the sky. If you wouldn't mind, I haven't asked so far, and this video is not going to get that many views, so if you drop a like on it, I'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment to let me know actually who came to the video today. And if we do get, I don't know, let's make the goal even lower than before. I'm really playing with fire here. Let's make the goal today 510 likes. We get 510 likes on this video, I'll give away $10,000 to somebody that leaves a comment in the comment section below. And on that note, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.